Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com. Mike and Jay, shalom, Big E. King, how are you, my friend?
Good, pleased to be with you.
Yeah? I know, we just got some devastating news, and so we're trying to rally around that. We just learned that Nick Lachey was kicked off Dancing with the Stars last night. And
man, what are we going to do?
I don't know. You were pointing out the guy does not look like he's aged at all. I wonder what he's doing.
It's the same hair as like 20 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
98 degrees days.
I always kind of liked him.
Yeah, I don't mind Nick Lachey at all.
Or his brother, you know.
They showed well on that reality show they had with Jessica. Newlyweds, was it?
Newlyweds, yeah.
The brothers showed well on that. They showed to be somewhat down to earth.
We've talked about them before, but yeah, they did kind of have a. You could tell they were from the Midwest.
Yeah, they were doing it themselves on several occasions, like when they tried to install the sprinklers on the lot next door.
Yeah,
and then also they tried to move in like his arcade games themselves.
Oh yeah.
And they
rent a truck or something.
Ridiculous lengths where they were trying to bring it across some boards that they slung from one rooftop to another.
That's right.
Shit. I mean. You're just going, why are you doing this, man?
Yeah, this would cost you almost nothing. You're living in a multi-million-dollar home, and you've got plenty of money. But there is something cool about...
He was changing out electrical sockets and stuff. I totally remember that.
Yes. Didn't he do something with a pool, too? Wasn't there something involving the pool and him and his brother? He's like, calls his brother up.
Drew,
yeah.
Come on over.
Drew, I need your help. And then he and Drew are like at the store buying like whatever they need, and then they show him at home. Kind of like the sprinklers, but yeah, it's funny. So anyway, too bad for him. I would think he would have done well. His brother did well on that show a few years ago. Drew Lachey on Dancing with the Stars, so I don't know where they are. I hope he wasn't kicked off night one.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. Anyway, not to focus on that. We'll be okay. We're going to be okay with this. But lots of things to get to. An exciting week, obviously, for us as we gear towards Jerry. His arrival should be tonight.
Everything goes as planned.
Yes, he's very excited. And then, obviously, Saturday, we hope to see a lot of you guys out there at 22 and Hayes in Shelby Township, starting about 6 o'clock. Jay and I will be out there. Big E will be there. And, of course, Jerry, the legendary voice of the San Francisco Jacks. So hopefully you guys can all come out and join us for that. And he'll be in studio Thursday, too. So we'll have a nice chat with him in person. So that to look forward to. As we continue to see the decline of Hollywood on a daily basis, I kind of love that these stories have popped out and have given voice to a lot of people that never had voices before. And so we're just seeing these people drop like flies almost. James Toback and obviously Harvinger and all these people. And now
who's next?
Terry Richardson appears to be next, which shouldn't come as a huge shock to people.
Bagel, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
What you doing, Terry? You guys remember Terry Richardson, right? That creepy photographer.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, I think he did the Miley Cyrus wrecking ball video.
Yeah.
Where she's nude on that giant wrecking
He's done
ball.
several shoots with her, I think.
Has he? Yeah. And then he published some nude photos of her as well on his site. But I think he's usually known as Uncle Terry, which is never a good sign. Your nickname should not be Uncle anything. But anyway, he's been banned from working with several major fashion magazines. Vogue, GQ, Vanity Fair are among those who were told to kill any scheduled shoots with the photographer by their parent group, Condé Nast. What is that, a makeup group or just a modeling magazine type thing? I recognize the name, but he's been the subject of widespread allegations of sexually abusing models over the years.
If I'm not mistaken, these have been out for years. But now it just matters to everybody?
I guess.
I didn't know anything about this guy. We looked him up 2 years ago when you brought him up in a story, and allegations of sexual assault and all this shit.
Yeah, he's just a creep, and it seems like his MO, like a lot of these guys, like the other guy we were talking about the other day, liked to hump your leg, and he wanted you to look into his eyes and pinch his nipples, and then he could come in his pants. Harvinger wanted to jack off, like they all have their thing, and I think Terry's was he liked to take nude photos of people, but he wanted to be nude too, which seems a bit.
What you doing, Terry?
Yes, I remember.
Seems
Totally
a bit
remember
odd.
talking about this with those Miley Cyrus photos.
Yeah. So anyway, an email circulated among staff at Condé Nast. I hope I'm saying that name right. After an article in a Sunday newspaper questioned his past. I don't know why an article, like you said, we've known about Terry for years. Anyway, the email.
So have articles. So have writers. So have.
Yeah.
So has the public.
Yeah.
This is just a thing now, I guess. So now
Yeah.
it's time to hang Terry.
To hang Terry, yeah. The one thing about Terry is he's very open about being a perv. Like, he's at least not trying to hide it. He's just kind of an asshole out there. But the email was sent by the firm's executive VP, James Woolhouse. Maybe he's just learning about this now.
Sure.
He said future
Bunch
articles.
of hypocrites, man.
I know, isn't it terrible?
Yes, it's been around for years. He's a creep. He's been a creep.
Yeah, and the stories, like, he was the one that wanted to make tea with that chick's tampon. Remember that?
Yes.
I do remember that.
Do you remember that? I think that's what, when it came on our radar, it was like, oh, that's so gross. These poor, like, 19-year-old trying to make it in the business, having to deal with this 50-some-year-old creep. Anyway, so Condé Nast would like to no longer work with the photographer Terry Richardson. Please, could you confirm that this policy will be actioned in your market effective immediately? Thank you for your support in this matter. Uncle Terry himself, addressed the allegations directed at him in recent days in a blog published on Huffington Post. He wrote, I collaborated with consenting adult women who were fully aware of the nature of the work, and as is typical with any project, everyone signed releases. I have never used an offer of work or a threat to rebuke or coerce someone into something that they did not want to do. I give everyone that I work with enough respect to view them as having ownership of their free will and making their decisions accordingly. It's been difficult to see myself as a target of revisionist history.
There you go, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
And so if you didn't know, I do have a little list of some of the past allegations against old Terrence, Uncle Terry, and some of his out there behavior. 2001, Canadian model Liskula Cohen walked out of a Vogue photo shoot. He wanted me to be completely naked and pretend to give one of them a blowjob while he was also naked, which is important for the photographer to also be naked. The men were not models or actors, but they were just friends of Richardson. She later learned that she was replaced by another model who did do what he asked. So, 2004, Phoebe Eaton, who went to Terry Richardson's Terry World exhibition, and brought to light the fact that the show included many photos of models blowing Uncle Terry. Which is nice.
Lord, jeez.
For the art.
That's just art.
Oh, jeez.
Today we're going to display my big photo album. You'll notice there's 300 women all blowing me in that. So
What a deep artist.
among those models was an intern at the named Alex, who was pictured blowing Uncle Terry from inside a trash can while the word slut was pasted across her forehead. So, but for the art.
Of course.
For the art.
So someone else is behind the lens at this point, or is he just shooting down?
Yeah, Terry likes to do that too, have his assistants take photos, which is weird because I thought he was the
expert.
Well,
the expert photog.
He's setting it all up with just the angles and stuff.
Yeah, he's
Mike.
done the little
I mean,
thing with the thumb and forefinger.
Right.
He's framed it.
What I really see here is me getting a blowjob, and that's just you just kind of get what you get from the back end. And
I wonder if he has to do that thing like everyone when you hand him. Can you take a picture? And it's like you just push the button on the top there all the way to the right. Just hold
Whether
that
he
down.
gives that instruction, you mean?
Yeah, like if he tells his assistants or interns or whatever, just hold this button down here. Anyway, we've got Frank Lopera. He filed a complaint. Apparently, Terry posted a bunch of pictures of his dong without his consent. I don't know why he would have.
What you doing, Terry?
Terry, though, did have this statement that he said. It was pretty straightforward. Like I've always said, it's not who you know, it's who you blow.
Bag up, bag up.
I don't have a hole in my jeans for nothing. Classy guy. We've also got in 2008 a stylist from New York named Anna described her encounter with Richardson. Started off with Anna standing against a wall making funny faces. Make funny faces. Ooh, we've all been in a photo shoot like that. Just let it loose. Go crazy. Anna said it escalated after she was posing on the floor making her funny faces, and all of a sudden for some random reason, she feels a dick pressing against the side of her face.
Oh, Lord! Lord, Jesus! Oh, Lord!
Oh, Terry.
Jesus!
Yeah, Terry Richardson's semi-hard panoose was plunged into the outside of my cheek, and he was jabbing it into my face. Huh. And then we've got an 09. Another model asked for a photo shoot. He also stripped for that one, and then his assistant asked her to, if you would, for the art, I need you to give Terry a violent hand job.
A lot is excused under the guise of art.
It sure is.
A lot of symbolicness there. I'm sure that meant something, you know, based on the troubled times politically or something. I'm sure that's what I would go for.
Does anyone in the room, I don't mean to like speak for people, but does anyone favor a violent blowjob or a violent hand job?
You like the violent blowjob, right?
Yeah,
the toilet seat around her, you know, basically, you know, the rape.
Well,
blowjob is what you.
I was just basically saying that I've seen that where, you know, you've got the mascara just streaming down the face and it's just fucking choke on it, like that whole thing. But a violent hand job seems very dry and I don't know.
Chafing,
exactly.
But see, that proves that he wasn't enjoying this. Again, this was for the art. He had his pain for the art.
Maybe.
Suffering. That's got the art, suffering art, Mike.
You'll be glad to know that this young model did do the violent hand job, but she didn't enjoy it. She's not a fan of it. This one got weird for this lady. She did a second photo shoot with Richardson. He suggested making tea out of her. He used.
Yeah. Did they say which of these allegations is new and which have just been out there?
I don't know. Maybe this Woolworth guy just found out about it. Like, he had no idea. He's been busy running this, you know, Condé Nast and had no idea that Richardson was, you know, taking his dick and poking it into the cheek of models. He didn't know. Lastly, one more. We got model Charlotte Waters claiming that Richardson directed her to do things like pose on a couch, which doesn't seem that out of the ordinary, but the difference was he was going to lick her butt while she was posing on the couch.
What you doing, Terry?
Also, the assistants were taking all these photos. See, he wasn't taking the photo. He was just focused.
Does
really
he ever
on
take
the
a
art
photo?
Of licking
or is
the
it just
butt.
people taking pictures of him having sex?
It sounds kind of like that, but it goes over your head. It's about the art.
You're right. I'm not a photographer.
There was aggressive kissing and random sex acts being done to her that ended with him. Sounds like maybe blowing a load on her face. It says defiling her face, and I don't mean to leap to that conclusion, but I don't know what else it could be. Maybe he shit on her face?
Maybe he pissed on her, shit on her,
yeah,
shat on her.
Could be. Is it shat? Shat on her. After her experience, she, for some reason, wrapped up her modeling career and then left New York. So that's too bad.
That'd be about all I could handle, too. Shit.
The
first job you go to.
Can you imagine
blowing on your face?
What if she came from some
after he licked her butt? What
if she traveled, from some little town? She'd always been the good-looking girl, and she's like, I'm gonna go do it, and then she comes back, and now she's just working in a diner. Like, hey, whatever happened to that modeling thing?
I don't want to talk about it.
It's just
it doesn't say.
Just
where
a mom of
from.
two, working at the diner in town. Again, just moved back home, and it's just like, remember the time your mom was a model?
Yeah. Oh, do you have any photos of when your mom was a model? I don't know. I can't find those anywhere.
Hey, insurance, we all need it. Most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who even provides it. Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasik from Wasik Insurance Services change all of that. Brent has over 29 years in the business. He offers all types of insurance coverage, auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, and more. Call Brent today, 734-455-1900. Hey,
did you see Kid Rock is not running for Senate?
Yeah, who would have thought that, Mike? Come on.
I didn't, honestly, I feel kind of duped. I didn't know what to believe. That was a weird enough story that...
I don't truly believe that he wasn't poking around.
Really?
I think maybe he put the feelers out.
Well, after Trump won the presidency, nothing seemed that outlandish. It was like, well, why not Kid Rock? And it seemed like Stabenow was taking it serious, and Michigan Republicans were taking it serious.
No, I really do. I think he put out the feelers and saw that it was about a 50-50, and that he wasn't gaining momentum, and probably, what are you talking about? I wasn't going to run for Senate. You kidding me?
He was on, apparently it was on Stern this morning. I haven't heard it yet, but I was just reading the Free Press. and they said they're quoting Kid Rock, and I guess Howard asked him like right out of the gate about this whole senator run. He's like, "Fuck no, I'm not running for senator. Are you kidding me? Who couldn't figure that out? I'm releasing a new album. I'm going on tour too. Are you fucking shitting me?" His new album is called Sweet Southern Sugar. It'll be released November 3rd. He said of the Senate idea, "It's the worst advice I ever gave myself, but it's been the most creative thing I've ever done, and I've gotten to see everyone's true colors." And then he said he talked to Eminem's manager, Paul Rosenberg, at last week's Pistons game, and he was telling him, "Let's not let this divide us." That's what he told Rosenberg. Eminem, if you remember, was loudly cheered at the new Little Caesars Arena for that opening night Pistons game, and Kid Rock, they showed him in the stadium, and he drew some rather loud boos from a lot of people in the crowd. But yeah, he says people in his inner circle who were in on the joke were even like, "Is there something? Are you serious about this?" He's like, "No, we're not doing it, but let's just roll with this idea for a while." So I don't know, man. I'm
Not sure I believe that.
I'm kind of inclined to believe like you do. Like, there was something there, although it did seem weird that it lined up with an album release and a tour. But, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. We'll see in the future. I mean, he's definitely interested in the subject matter. All right, Jay, if you had, let's say your old man was a billionaire oil tycoon, right? You can picture that, right?
I cannot picture that.
No.
But I'll try.
See what you can do. What do you think your role is when he starts getting up in age? Is that the time to rock the boat? Because I feel like if you're if you're waiting to inherit some shit, I think you just let the old man do what the old man's going to do. And I've got a story here about this Denver oil tycoon, Jack Grynberg, and he's in a legal battle now with his family over control of his billion-dollar empire. He's 85 years old. He's battling his wife and 3 kids and attempts to seize the family fortune over claims that he's erratic and has questionable judgment. So, he built his fortune partially by suing other oil companies on behalf of the government under laws that allow whistleblowers to take a cut of the money recovered from fraudsters. So his wife, Celeste, and their 3 children, Rachel, Stephen, and Miriam, filed suit to play for control over his empire. The family legal battle centers on 3 companies, it doesn't matter the names, but which all hold about $230 million in cash reserves and drilling rights that are valued in the billions. The 3 are owned by the children, but given to them under the condition that he be allowed to operate them until the day he dies. The wife and children contend that he lacks the capacity to continue running the business. Jack's words reveal a troubling absence of ethical business judgment and reckless business decisions that have cost them millions.
Kind of reminds me of...
He's got AIDS.
Yeah, I didn't give him those AIDS. I know, doesn't it?
I think he should be ashamed of himself. I think he should go into the background.
Donald Sterling.
Yeah. So the family claims that Mr. Grynberg bought a $600,000 house for his secretary with corporate funds. Does seem like a bit of an ethical problem, right? You're not supposed to do that.
Long-time servant. Who knows?
He also refused to pay an IRS bill of $135 million last year and is running up an interest tab of $20,000 a day on the unpaid bill. And then he was briefly, and it was brief, they didn't have enough evidence, so we just let this go, but he was briefly charged with felony sexual contact by force after a former employee told police he put his hand inside her shirt and bra and grabbed her titties.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes...
Was he 85?
85, yeah.
Shit.
They get a little touchy-feely at that age. That's not uncommon. So Grynberg now, and this is the problem. When you file suit, it's like, all right, let's find a way to work this out and just keep in line, keep stable for our billions, you know? He blasted the complete ingratitude of my children, whom I've supported through their entire lives, providing gifts of interests in companies which have earned more than $1 billion solely through my efforts. Miriam has not worked a day in her life.
If you want to pin it on something, pin it on that.
Shitting on his daughter, Miriam. Never worked a day in her life.
Well, he didn't give her a job. What's she supposed to do?
That's a good point. While his other children, Rachel and Stephen, have wasted the education which I provided for them. Rachel dabbles in art in Denver. Ooh, Rachel.
Who wouldn't?
Why not?
Of course you would. Of course you would.
whatever the heart's desire. You want to dabble in art, Rachel, in Denver?
Finger painting in Denver.
How
Sounds
can you
good.
imagine Bill giving statements to the press? Oh, yeah, my shithead son Jay, he dabbles in art in Denver. Steven pretends to be a filmmaker in Hollywood. Ooh. Ouch.
Sounds like the Royal Tenenbaums or something.
Yeah. Neither do anything productive. I have decided enough is enough. They have no ability to manage these companies. Grynberg has argued that he built his own fortune from the ground up and should be able to operate the companies as he pleases. Suit is set to go to trial next month.
Sounds like it's probably a long time coming, you know? It's
Yeah.
probably been decades upon decades of him being disappointed in the children just trying to hold out for the inheritance.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten to the point where, can we make a play? Can we make a power move here?
But don't you blame Dad almost for that? If it's like, you know, if you've given them such a life that they don't feel that they have to do anything ever, I mean, it's partly on you, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, if Miriam's just doing finger painting in Denver her whole adult
You
life.
never told her she didn't have to.
Yeah, and you're the one that bought her those supplies. But you run the risk of being like Jerry Lewis. You know, Jerry Lewis's kids. I don't know if you remember when he died a couple months ago or whatever, and his will was very, very specific.
I don't remember his will at all. I don't know anything about his family.
Yeah. Well, he had 2 marriages, and he had like 6 kids in the first one. They're all adults now. And he specifically wrote in his will, I have intentionally excluded Gary Lewis, Ron Lewis, Anthony Lewis, Christopher, Scott, and Joseph Lewis, and their descendants as beneficiaries of my estate. It being my intention that they shall receive no benefits hereunder.
Oof. Wow. Those are all his kids? He listed all of them?
He listed 6 of them. One of them is dead, died of a heroin overdose years ago, but he was still listed in there. Don't give him shit. He gets nothing. His estate. So his estate goes to his widow Sandy, which is Sandee. Ooh, okay. Sandy. Yeah, former Las Vegas dancer. Gets the estate there, and their daughter Danielle, who they adopted. The couple's 6th and youngest son, Joseph, was born in 1965, passed away at the age of 45 from a heroin overdose. At the time, he had not spoken to his father in 20 years, with Lewis refusing to even pay for his funeral.
Wow.
How bad did things get with the old man?
That is resentful.
He also allegedly asked Joseph's 5 brothers to keep the death quiet in hopes the media wouldn't learn that he OD'd. Joseph spent his time eating at soup kitchens and living in homeless shelters. He also sold a story about his dad in the National Enquirer, and that said that basically they were all viciously beaten by this guy growing up. Living with him was pure hell. I've tried drugs and therapy. The truth still hurts. My father doesn't love me. At the time of his death, he had 3 sons. The kid that died, he had 3 sons. Never once met Papa.
That's really astounding.
Gary Lewis's oldest son found fame as a member. You remember this? Huge. He found fame as a member of the music group Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Huge. I remember them. And their smash hit song, they actually had a #1 hit with This Diamond Ring. Have you ever heard of Gary Lewis and the Playboys?
No, we might know the tune, though, if you play that. This Diamond Ring.
This Diamond Ring.
Diamond.
D-I-A-M-O-N-D. Can you find it there, E? Let's see what kind of talent Gary Lewis had.
1965.
So far, I like it.
Who wants to buy this diamond ring? She took it off her finger now.
There must not have been that many big smash hits in '65, you know?
This diamond ring doesn't shine for
Oh, fuck
me
yes.
anymore.
Know this song?
Do you really?
Yeah.
Mean what it did before.
Yes, dude. Glad we waited for the hook.
It's true.
The song was huge.
It was #1 hit.
Shine for you.
It's kind of catchy. Anyway, so the singer there said, my father doesn't really care. He's more worried about his career and his image than his own family. And Lewis, went on to do some interviews.
And all the retarded kids.
Well, yeah, the MDA stuff, right? Yeah, that was a big deal to him. I think he raised $2.5 billion for
Although
them.
that wasn't that the thing that he didn't ever disclose why he cared. Like when people ask
why
this,
he cared so much about this?
he just said, "I'm not going to answer that. I'm just going to do what I do and give the money."
No, it wasn't retarded kids. Was it MS?
I thought it.
I thought it was muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, okay.
MDA was his
Dystrophy.
big. Yeah.
My favorite dystrophy.
Yeah, it's one of mine too. I'd have to think more about the dystrophies, but I think muscular is my favorite.
What's another one, Mike?
It's irrelevant at this point. I need to go over my list. I've got a whole list upstairs.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, but then you read him doing interviews, and it's like, yeah, my son died, and it was really hard, and I still beat myself up over it. But then you listen to the kids, and it's like, fuck that guy. He was pure evil, rotten to the core. Yeah.
Well, then they don't mind not getting anything from him, I'm sure.
Boy, that'd be tough. Yeah, be tough. Thankfully, Gary's at least got Gary Lewis and the Playboys money to
He's
fall
always got
back
the
on.
residuals from that.
Hell yeah.
And this diamond ring doesn't shine for you anymore. Totally know that song.
By the way, Gerald also had one illegitimate daughter, Suzanne, who was born out of wedlock during an affair he had with a model named Lynn Dixon. Suzanne is also currently homeless. So, not
But he was
so
such a dick. I mean, they shouldn't want his money.
Yeah. Anyway, tough road for those kids. Students at Eastern Michigan. Remember this, Jay? Last year, was it?
Racist graffiti.
Yeah. And I'll take you back a little bit here. September 20th, it was 2016. Staff at Eastern discovered racist graffiti on the side of a dorm building. KKK was spray painted. You remember it was like red, white, and blue. Each K was a different color. And then below the letters was the slur, "Leave niggers." University President James Smith said the university strongly condemns such a racist and thoughtful act, which runs completely counter to the values, welcoming environment of our highly diverse Eastern community. Rest assured, we will investigate this criminal act to our fullest abilities and will advise our campus community on our progress.
Just know that all white people are fucking devils.
Several students, however, thought that statement was absolutely insufficient. And after the wall had been cleared of the graffiti, senior Zach Badgerhouse said that he was staging a one-man silent protest because African-American students are highly upset about this. He held a sign that read, "I need answers." By the afternoon, other EMU students had gathered at the scene of the incident as well. What is this administration going to do about this? It's deeper than just taking it off the wall. I want answers, and I want them now. Several members of the Black Student Union then joined the students on campus to protest the incident as well. They were shouting the all too familiar "No justice,
no peace."
Yeah, over and over, too. It's not like a one-time thing. EMU student Janie, that was the only name she gave, said that the black community on campus was hurt by the incident. We pay for our education just like everyone else, so to see something like that in the morning on our way to class has caused outrage and pain, as it should. They finally arrested someone for that crime.
Let me guess. It's not a white guy.
God damn it. How'd you know? Well, there's the fine young gentleman that did that. Yeah, it's crazy. Why would
Not
a
the
black
usual
man
suspect
spray paint that? 29 years old, former Eastern student, was arraigned. Is that a little late? 29 if you were enrolled in 2014 and 16? Was that about right? It's
a little late.
Just a tad. Not bad. He was arraigned on Monday on charges that he placed the racist graffiti around the campus on 3 separate occasions. His name is Eddie Curlin. He's been charged with 3 counts of malicious destruction of property, 4 counts of identity theft, and 1 count of using computers to commit a crime. According to the university's chief of police, Robert Hayes, the acts were not racially or politically motivated. It was totally self-serving. It was not driven by politics. It was not driven by race. Wow, that's interesting. Our officers have worked on the case extensively since day one. I recognize the anger, fear, and frustration these incidents cause for many students and staff. I thank them for their patience and understanding as we conducted a thorough investigation. Nobody received I guess it was a $10,000 reward if someone could finger this guy. Jaquai Rodwell, an EMU student, said, "Yeah, I'm a little disappointed that the graffiti stemmed from a black dude." Why
Shouldn't
would
you be relieved? It's just some psychotic black dude instead of like this pervasive racism among your white peers?
Yeah, you would think, but if that was a white guy and they arrested him for that, they would charge him up the wazoo with every racial thing you could find. Why wouldn't they do that with? Doesn't that?
I have not investigated this case, Mike. I know only what you read me.
Yeah.
It sounds like the guy's just a mental case, man.
Yeah, I just you know, things like that. I wish they would really fucking throw the book at, to try as much as you can to discourage this behavior, because I feel like this whole country is just on a razor's edge with a lot of these racial things, and more often than you'd even realize, we see this where these incidents happen, and then by the time it gets investigated, it turns out it was an inside job by someone. I'm not saying all these are, obviously, but enough of them are where someone's crying wolf, and it just does so much damage to relations in general. We saw that, you know, we had the U of M chick, you know, it was like, oh, yeah, they were yelling, build a wall, and, you know, we love Trump, and ripped their hijab off. Remember that?
I remember that one, yeah.
And it was total bullshit. It was all made up, but it was blasted all over the national news like this is just normal. This is how white people feel in America today. They hate you, and
it serves its purpose, and then you come to find out it's the black guy who did it, and that's not going to get near the press that the initial incident did.
No, it just kind of gets, you know, it's a you know, below the fold story, and it's gone in a day. But people remember all the hatred and the racism behind stuff. I hate that. It's like when those kids we were watching the other day in the middle school, and it's like, if you little fuckers only knew how damaging this was. I know it's a little prank to you guys to hold the blow, I'm going to fuck the black out of him. And when you're talking about 12, 13, 14-year-olds, they probably don't even know what they're doing, but it just the narrative that it paints in the
I don't know that you can draw that conclusion.
No,
that they don't know what they're doing. 12, 13, 14-year-olds.
Well, I shouldn't say they don't know what they're doing, but they don't understand the gravity of it. Like they don't understand the history of the country really, and
it could be racially driven. It could very well be, or it could not. What struck me about that was how complicit the black kids in that looked.
Yeah,
it was like everybody planned it, including the black kids. I'm not saying that wouldn't be fucking weird had the black kids helped plan that, but if I'm one of those kids being mock fucked in the ass, I'm turning around and elbowing hard at the very least.
You're doing more than an elbow, I think, but I don't think they get you on the ground.
But the point is, I mean, I would leave that one aside. I totally know what you're saying about the Eastern one, about the hijab one, but the kids butt raping the kids in Virginia. I mean that
butt raping.
That is what it is. They're yelling racial shit, and that.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's one of the building blocks where people can go, yeah, there's racism in this country.
Yeah, and there is. I'm not saying there isn't. I guess I don't want immature little kids speaking. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's a terrible story. All of them are, but all these add up together to be really, really bad. And then, you know, what was the other one we had where didn't someone write like KKK or the N-word in human shit in a bathroom somewhere? And do you remember that one? But nobody had pictures of it, and it was like, dude, you can't see anything. I mean,
dude, if you go to that one school was just someone said that, well, someone drove by in a car yelling the N-word, and it's like,
right.
Okay, yeah. Did they or I don't know.
And there were cotton balls found too, if I'm not mistaken.
The shoelaces.
Yeah, there's a noose outside my dorm room. You know, like all those are sensational and they get publicized and big, but then when they turn out to be nothing, it really doesn't. I don't know. I just feel like there's such a thing, and I hate that. I don't feel like this is a hate-filled country for the most part. I don't feel like we don't get along, but it's like a constant repetitive theme that, oh, yeah, white people just spray paint racist shit all over buildings and act like fucking animals, and some do. Yeah, there's 320 million people in this country. But I don't think it's a fair representative. Anyways.
I wish you had video. We've talked about it, and this was from the story with, I think, the yelling of the, you know, N-word out the door or whatever, or out the car. But I wish there was video of that president. If you remember, that was where the president was like going to the football game in his spot,
convertible,
and they're all meeting him in his car. He's like, oh, no, not seeing nothing.
Ooh, blinders on.
just get home. I wish we had video of that. Like,
Did he end up leaving? Did he end up leaving his post?
I don't know. I think
because his response was so bad. He was like,
I think he did. I think so. I have to look into it, but I don't know. But I wish we had video of that. Him getting into the car, just like, whoa.
Hey, does your money work as hard as you do? You will spend upwards of 45 years working to support your lifestyle, provide for your family, and set aside money for retirement. Do you know if you'll be able to retire on your terms? How could you know if you don't have a plan? Let Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial help to make sure your money is working as hard as you are. Call Mark today at 248-626-2000.
Sorry.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
I was driving home the other day, and I was listening to WJR randomly, and there was a show about, retirement and what you need to do in retirement. I'm starting to get the impression that I might not have enough money for retirement. Based on the numbers they were talking about.
Well, why don't you learn your lesson from the Jerry Lewis story we did earlier and don't piss off your dad? Okay?
Exactly.
You know what's funny? As I was thinking about that during that story, it's like, man, I need to start being nicer to my parents.
How about next time your dad asks you to climb a ladder and spread a little paint on the house, you do so.
The climbing a ladder is one thing.
call.
My fear of heights is one thing, but I, in general, probably should start being a little nicer to them. They're getting up there in the ages.
Which one do you think you need to be nicest to, mom or dad?
Dad.
Yeah, you
see, I see Mike just honestly like having a heart attack. Like the big one happens one day, and then you're left with Mrs. Fady. Hi, Mrs. Fady, by the way.
But my biggest worry, honestly, is that situation because my mom. I think I see my mom being someone who would. She'd be willing to give money. Like she's very nice and very too supportive of me in reality. But my worry is that I think she'll hold on like real long, like as far as like health wise. I could see her selfishly having a long, drawn out death.
Yeah, those fins. Those fins have long lifespans.
Like I just see there being some situation.
Fins. No one knows what you're talking about.
Look at the lifespan of a fin. Honestly.
Well, you're probably right that Mike Fady is just going to, one day it's just going to happen. Blood clot's going to make its way to the heart valve. And
he's just had enough.
He's done.
That man's been through a lot.
I know.
And really, the one you need to be nicest to is the one left standing, right? Because you're a piece of shit, and, you can continue to be a piece of shit. But if Mike goes down, you got to worry about Mrs. Fady. Because, there will probably be a long... horribly painful, drawn-out death that she'll face.
Right, I know.
And you need to be there, dude. It's critical that you're there in the hospital. Like, can I get you anything else?
I know.
How does the average lifespan of Scandinavians compare to the rest of the world, E?
Well, I know the average lifespan of the Finland is 81 years old.
Oh, wow. Man. That's average.
That's average. Dude, what's the average of an American? 76?
If one dies at 68, the second one dies at 108.
Dude, she could be 108.
Right.
She could be a 108.
I mean, her mom went to 93.
Nana, God rest her soul.
Yeah.
How old was Nana?
78 in America. So that's 3 years more, though.
Did you say 78 in America? Oh, okay.
Lifespan in America.
Gotcha.
So I think Grandma made it to my mom's mom made it to 93.
I told you the Finns were a long-lasting brood.
I think there's a lot of other countries, too.
I think and like you said, it's very important. That's an average.
Yeah.
So 3 years, 78 versus 81 doesn't sound like a lot, but when averages,
I know
that's a lot. E, how old would you be? Let's just assume that your mom, Mrs. Fady, God bless her, lives to $108. How old will you be?
$108? That's ridiculous. He's 98.
He's 39 now. How old's Mrs. Fady?
I don't know exactly. And I don't know if I went on. I'm not going to say her age.
Like 65, 70?
We're not asking for a social security number. How old is she?
50. In the 50s.
Your mom's in the 50s. She's got another 58 years to go, potentially?
I'm going to say 40 years to go.
Was this a teen pregnancy?
No. Actually, no, definitely not.
Are you Mike's kid?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
dude,
he is, yeah.
Dude, if you look at me and my dad, I mean, it's very obvious.
He's got the grill.
Well, just the hair, the skin.
I met your dad. The skin.
No, like compared to my sister.
Pinkish, whitish skin.
Well, no, compared to my brother and my sister.
That Caucasian skin that some guys have.
No.
Me and my dad both have it.
Compared to my brother and my sister. My brother and sister both have blonde hair, blue eyes, lighter skin, and I have dark hair, brown eyes, and a little darker skin, like my dad does.
Dude, when I walked into the Fady Manor, and it kills me to this day because Nana was in a wheelchair just around the corner, and I never sauntered in and met her. But Mrs. Fady met me at the door.
She didn't scurry about in her house coat?
She might have at one point, hissing and whining about something, scurried across. But yeah, I remember I was standing in the foyer. Is it the foyer?
It's the foyer.
The entrance to the home in the manor. And I'm standing there, and I'm meeting Mrs. Fady, and she's pretending like she likes me. And like of all the people on the planet, she hates me more than anyone. Mrs. Fady despises me.
I might be 1A, you might be 1B.
Well, your the reading you did at Nana's funeral probably didn't help when you quoted the RZA or whatever you did. But yeah, when I was standing there, she was being really friendly to my face, and then Mike Fady came down. You know those big winding stairs that you see in mansions.
Oh God!
I mean, he came down there, and I turned around and I went, It scared me because it was like a Big E older version, but kind of it was like Aaron Rodgers to Mongoloid Aaron Rodgers, kind of that kind of effect. And when I saw him, it was like, holy shit! Yeah, that's Big E's dad.
Yeah, I met him too, standing next to each other, mirror images.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, you can just see enough of him in there to go, yep, that's his kid.
So I think the point of all this is, if you don't want to be worried about when your parents are going to die, you should probably take your money to somebody like Mark and.
Dude,
make
Mark
sure you
is
don't have
not
to do
interested
that.
in your $2, dude. He's not.
I know, not for me.
He's
going to
bring his
other people.
Call 626-2000. Ask for Mark.
He's going to bring his porcelain piggy bank in and just like smash it
there
on
you
Merk's
go,
desk.
Merk.
Double
See
what you can do. Let's make a run, Merk.
He should be able to turn 10 into 20. All right.
He'd probably just reach in his pocket and pull out a 20 and just be like, dude, here, I turned it into 20. Now beat it. Get out of here. Stop wasting my time, son. Did you see Megyn Kelly yesterday kind of go off on Bill O'Reilly?
Very heartfelt little soliloquy by Miss Kelly.
What happened? I thought we were focusing on, cooking segments and,
fun and games.
Yeah, how to do art projects in the fall with leaves and cutout paper, construction paper. Like, what happened here?
I saw a tweet the other day, and I think it was from Steve Bannon, where he's like, yeah, this woman was moderating presidential debates a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's her like dancing with the audience, pulling people out of the audience, doing the white girl dance with them and stuff.
How embarrassing.
Ellening it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That show's getting crushed, too.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not doing well. It's getting panned. People are still trying to do it's early. It's early. It's like, nah. Usually if something's good, people can see through this. People, I think, are seeing through Megyn Kelly and what she is. And there's a lot of people, whether fairly or unfairly, just look at her from Fox and just go fuck yourself. They keep playing the same clips out of context of her talking about Black Lives Matter or whatever. Santa Claus is white. I don't care what anyone says. Santa Claus is white. Like that clip.
Had she not been on Fox, maybe she'd have a puncher's chance with success with something like this, changing the way she has. But having been on Fox and having that vitriol aimed at her for that, and then just not being like real substantive and great at what she does. Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
Plus the money. The money is what is like if she was just off the street white girl came in and was you didn't know what she was making, nobody would care and she'd probably have more of a chance. But when you start throwing out obnoxious $120 million,
everybody's expecting greatness as they should.
Yeah,
you're being paid like that.
And there's a lot of jealousy that comes with that. And people are like, go fuck yourself. No job is worth that, Megyn Kelly. To sit down at the Today Show for an hour and do a cooking segment is not worth $20 million a year. I'm sorry, it's just not. And so anyway, for some reason, she stepped back into the ring, which is popular now. I mean, we do it on this show, talking about kind of all the sexual assaults that are going on and the harassment claims against all of Hollywood. And so she jumped into it and kind of went for the jugular, tearing down Bill O'Reilly. She says Fox News was not exactly a friendly environment for harassment victims who wanted to report, in my experience. However, O'Reilly's suggestion that no one complained about his behavior is false. I know because I complained.
Ooh.
Oh. Boom.
Oh, William.
Oh, Billiam.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live.
Fuck it.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What was he going to say there? I'll write it.
Do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, I can something.
I can
do it myself.
I can do it myself. I can write it and then we'll do it. Yeah. He caught himself quick though. Anyway, this is a problem for Bill O'Reilly, who has gone on and said, hey, no one ever filed a complaint about me. There's a hotline at Fox. I mean, if people didn't like me grabbing their butts and boobs all day at the office, all they had to do was report it to the office line here. No problem.
He's really continues to come out strong on all this, that this is all bullshit and that he's got evidence and it's going to be shown.
I have a feeling his evidence is that there are lots of people on the left that want to tear down the right-wing conservative talk.
Guess what? The difference between him and Sean Hannity apparently doesn't have this in his background, this serial sexual harassment.
And you can have both. You can have someone trying to tear down your career.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Trust me, they're trying to tear down Hannity every day. They're listening to every word he utters and interviewing every person around him. And they've not been able to do it because apparently he's not got that proclivity.
Yeah.
Whereas Mr. O'Reilly apparently does.
I wonder why Bill is coming out so strongly. If he's one of these guys that believes what he's saying, or if he just knows with certainty that there's not going to be a trail, there's not a video, there's not audio, there's not something that's going to lead back. It's going to be all he said, she said.
I think it's partly that, and I also think he knows the news cycle. And if he just comes out hard and denies it, this will blow over, is what he's thinking.
Wasn't his thing? It was always creepy too. Wasn't his thing always to just be like la la la? Like on his show, he wouldn't address.
I remember
any allegations.
Remember years ago where somebody alleged something and it popped and it was being reported, and he, after about 3 days of it being reported, he came out. I'm going to speak about this once, and then that's it. And he says, there's no merit to these allegations. I never did this to this woman, and I will never speak of this again. Now, moving on. President Obama did it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Which is weird that he's the first guy to not let someone off the hook for that.
Yeah.
That, some corporate head or some politician wants to go, I am never going to speak to this again. It's time for me to roll up my sleeves and get back to the work of American people.
He's got this, I'm a tough Long Island guy kind of thing that he falls back on all the time.
Yeah.
And so when he gets cornered, that's what he comes out with.
Yeah, comes out swinging.
Yeah.
Well, fuck it, we'll do it live. Anyway.
Fucking thing sucks.
He was on Glenn Beck's show, scheduled, just right when Megyn Kelly did this. Apparently, he didn't know this was happening. So Glennathan Beck has him on, and he decides to fight back, reading a couple thank you notes Megyn sent him over the years. One was sent after he attended a baby shower for one of her brats. The other came when he plugged a book that Kelly's husband, Douglas Brunt, wrote. Really? Bill O'Reilly would plug one of Megyn Kelly's dumb husband's books? Douglas! I never had any problems with Megyn Kelly, he said. I don't know why Megyn Kelly is doing what she's doing. I don't know why. He called her actions incomprehensible. I have dramatically helped her in her career. First of all, she didn't file a complaint. Not that I know of. It was never brought to our attention that Megyn Kelly ever did. So I'd like to see it, because I don't believe that that's true. O'Reilly had written after this 2009 baby shower and a 2012 episode of The Reilly Factor. Megyn called O'Reilly a true friend and a mentor in that note after he spoke about Brunt's book, Ghosts of Manhattan. And he called her she called him a dear friend when he got her baby bodysuits. What is that, just like a onesie?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
Before the arrival of her oldest child, Edward. Baby bodysuits. Do a Bing search really quick, E, on baby bodysuits.
I think that's a good guess, though, the onesie kind of
really, as far as outfits for infants go, isn't the onesie really where you want to be?
Well, you got to unsnap quickly. You got to be able to unsnap and get to that area.
That's right. It looks like that's just what they are, I guess.
Yeah, is that the key? But I would think that they would make a mess all over that button, too.
Well, they wear diapers typically.
Yeah, you diaper
before they're potty trained. So
but they wear diapers. But Jay, you're the one that's told me like halfway up their backs.
Their back. If they're positioned wrong, right up their back.
That's awesome.
But what the onesie does, it allows a quick unsnap, and then you just kind of pull it up.
Yeah. And then rub their face in the shitty diaper.
Absolutely.
And teach them like you do a dog.
Sure.
So anyway, O'Reilly read a letter from Gretchen Carlson, which said, Bill, thank you for being the calm in the sea. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for supporting me. So he's mentioning all these letters that these people wrote him. And so Gretchen Carlson responded, posting a tweet that just said, so what? Still paid $32 million.
Dude, that's the thing.
Exactly.
He didn't pay $800,000 or $1.2 million, $32 million to get rid of this suit.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. I need to know what was going on there. It's rape.
A fighter like that, a guy from Long Island who fights, he's tough. He comes out swinging.
Yep. Fucking thing sucks.
He doesn't just pay $32 million to somebody.
No, it's about protecting his kids,
though.
I
heard that,
right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you normal people would do. It's the reason Jackson's argument was so hard to believe. It's like, dude, you don't just give a kid $30 million at 13
Jackson,
years
though,
old.
was so unstable. I almost kind of believe that he's just, make it go away. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
But this O'Reilly, who's this tough guy, New York guy, he's not going to stand for that. His whole career is based on him being a fighter and,
Not going to be taken advantage of, used, run roughshod over. Fucking thing sucks. But it's amazing that it keeps happening to Bill. Bill. It doesn't happen to Hannity, where people are are falsely accusing him of shit where he's paying out $800,000. Because, dude, I can promise you this. I don't care what anyone says. To me, that's a scarlet letter, dude. It looks bad. If I have to pay a girl $800,000 to make something
don't
go away,
there. Don't go there, dude.
I'm gonna go there with that claim, though.
Meritless claims are settled all the time, as they should be under certain circumstances.
Yeah,
but not for $32 million.
Dude,
I have a
even
hard
for
time
$1
believing.
million. I mean, because you have to have the discussion at least with your lawyer, where you're like, dude, this is gonna make me look guilty as fuck.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay double that and fight this than be viewed as guilty of this.
Those are the
charge.
considerations that go into a settlement.
Yeah. And how often do you think they? I mean,
Dude, it totally
but-
depends on the situation. It depends on the client. I mean, some people just want this shit out of the way so they can move on with their business.
I can't believe Bill O'Reilly.
Sometimes
is trying
there's
to,
insurance companies involved that go, no, you know what? That's right in the range we want to settle for.
Yeah.
We're settling.
Yeah, and they won't let you proceed.
Right.
Well, for Bill, he would have the power to fight it if he wanted. And the arguments that he's making don't hold up water, and he's too smart of a guy to not see that. That just because you have a thank you note after attending a baby shower for Megyn Kelly.
I know. Where's the context? You know, what human being wouldn't send some sort of thank you? That doesn't absolve you from something, some feeling that she might have. And there may very well be the climate where it's just like, yeah, he's a fucking creep, but if I complain about him, it's going to go public. I'm just not willing to do that and risk my career and
Who's
get
to say
into all
she
that
even
garbage.
wrote it? Something like her who has a baby shower couldn't it just an
No,
assistant?
she did.
Okay,
She did.
Okay.
I saw the cards. They're written by her, but
That's a decent point, though. You know, there's assistants involved in all that, and there's just cordial shit you do in circumstances like that.
And dude, the amount of times I've written "Happy Birthday" to whatever on a card, and I fucking hate the guy. Can't stand the guy, but it comes around the office, and it's what you do. Someone sends you a nice wedding gift. You know, the least you do is, hey, thanks for the gift, man. Much appreciated, much love. You're a good friend.
Yeah.
And send it off, and you go, that guy's a fucking creep, man. But, those are just kind of things. So for him to go, ha-ha, the smoking gun. Here it is, Gretchen Carlson said I'm the water in the sea and a friend and a beacon of hope. And, dude, whatever. That doesn't mean you didn't grab her tits in the hallway.
But at the same time, it's not irrelevant for him to point to something like that, because if you really do view this person as a monster, and just like here's what I surmise. I surmise that the climate was, as people say, just
frat room,
old boys kind of thing. The women knew it for a long time before Gretchen Carlson. They just kind of laid low and got by as best they could.
Yeah.
They knew if they complained, it would be an issue, and so they just kind of played ball and moved forward with little notes like this and so forth, just to make it go.
Yeah, make things easy. Just
not that they accepted what was going
hell
on,
no.
but they're just like, fuck,
Megyn also went after someone else at NBC, one of the executives there, a woman. She said at Fox News, the media relations chief, Irina Briganti, is known for her vindictiveness. To this day, she pushes negative articles on certain Ailes accusers, like the one you're looking at now. It gives me no pleasure to report such news about my former employer, which has absolutely made some reforms since all of this went down. But this must stop. The abuse of women, the shaming of them, the threatening, the retaliation, the silencing. Irina has been doing this for years. She's still there. They have a big playbook, but that's a central part of it. And I believe that. I would think at a company like that for years. Now it'll probably change. I'm sure at some point we'll see Irina get blown out. But for a long time, it was probably just the machine that kicked into motion. All right, some bitch is making a claim. What do we got on her? What do we have on her?
And I go back to this Hannity versus O'Reilly comparison.
Yeah.
They're two birds of a feather. In fact, Hannity is a bigger target, honestly. Like Bill O'Reilly, I mentioned before, my view on him is, in large part, he's a blowhard who he's not like a hardcore right conservative thinker. He's more out for himself, his own brand. He writes a lot of books that he's always hawking. And whereas Hannity is really dyed-in-the-wool conservative.
He is, yeah.
And he's a guy who would be a huge target, like a Glenn Beck or a Rush Limbaugh.
Sure.
And the fact that they haven't been able to take Hannity down a peg suggests that maybe he doesn't have this in his background like an O'Reilly does.
Lastly, one of the things that I don't remember reading was the Bill O'Reilly's 04 phone sex monologue from Fox News producer Andrea Macris from her complaint. Do you want to just really quickly see how Bill is at phone sex? And,
sure.
I think, well, I'll read it to you. Okay, so he's on the phone with a girl, with Andrea here. Well, if I took you down there, I'd want to take a shower with you right away. That would be the first thing I'd do. Yeah, we'd check into the room, we'd order up some room service, and you'd definitely get 2 wines into you as quickly as I could get into you. I wouldn't get him into you, maybe intravenously. Get those glasses of wine into you. He's too focused on the wine. Like, okay,
yeah,
we get
dude,
it. Just have
got it. You want to get her drunk.
Yeah, a couple glasses of wine. Intravenously? Like, dude, you're going off the rails here.
It's his attempt at a joke or something. I don't know.
You would basically be in the shower. Okay, now we're settling, guys. This is going to get a little steamy. If you guys get embarrassed or something, feel free to duck out for a second. But you'd basically be in the shower, and I would come in and I'd join you, and you would have your back to me, and I would take that little loofah thing and kind of soap your back.
He's just talking it through it. That little, yeah, I'll take that little loofah thing and kind of soap your back.
Soap your back.
Well put, Bill. This is hot.
I think, tell me if there's too much loofah in the rest of this conversation.
Loofahs are very rough.
They are.
You ever accidentally loof it across the head of your paноose? Ouch! Ouch!
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're for removing dry skin.
Yeah,
like
they're not,
scraping off dry skin. Like it's not like.
I suppose it feels good on your back, but dude, yeah, keep the loofah out of this.
Yeah, I think he over loofahs the rest of this conversation. Like he overwined the first half of the conversation. He doesn't even really know. I'm going to excuse him because he's in the moment. He's probably fucking rock at the moment this conversation is going on. But the last time he mentions loofah, I think he calls it a falafel. Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's an Arabic dish, but it's
a delicious Arabic dish, albeit.
So anyway, I'll take that little loofah thing and kind of soap your back and rub it all over you, get you to relax. Hot water, and you'd feel the tension drain out of you, and you still would be with your back to me when I would kind of put my arms in one of those mitts, those loofah mitts, So I got my hand in it, and I would put it around the front, kind of rub your tummy a little bit with it. And then my other hand, I would start massage your boobs.
Does he say boobs?
He says boobs. That's a quote. Get your nipples really hard, because I like that, and you have really spectacular boobs. Is boobs just kind of a childish?
Yeah, it is. It's very, very middle school.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a woman. You're not. But do women like if guys are like, oh yeah, I want to play with your boobs, like just. I mean, even titties is better than that, right?
Yes.
Breasts. What is the go-to? I think I use titties.
I think titties is what do you say? Like even that's okay. Titties is what.
Hold on here. If we're gonna be in Bill O'Reilly's fantasy, where do we take this? What's the word you use there? My one hand's in the loofah, and it's gonna come around and scrub your tummy. Your tummy. I'm gonna have one hand in a gloved loofah.
So he's taken the loofah stick thing that he was on her back with, and now he's put his hand into a loofah mitt.
A loofah mitt. I'm going around on your tummy. Now my other hand is going to go and touch what? Insert.
I breast probably. I
breast maybe. It depends what kind of gamer she is. If she's one of those like, oh yeah, do me, then you go titties. But if she's like, oh Bill, you're making me blush.
I think you go breasts.
Breasts.
Yeah.
Breasts is the call. Anyway, he chose boobs. Whatever. Yeah, he thinks they're really spectacular boobs.
Maybe tits is it right there. And then I come around and grab your tits.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. Honestly, I would not throw a flag on that at all.
Okay.
If he said that, I'd gain way more respect for him.
Yeah.
It's a baller. He's been there before. He knows. So anyway, I'd be rubbing your big boobs and getting your nipples really hard. Like, dude, who needs to keep pressing really hard nip? Okay. Kind of kissing your neck from behind, and then I would take the other hand with the falafel thing. That's a quote.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah, what
falafel? All of a sudden, he has a falafel in his hand.
He's got some hummus and radishes on the side of the tub.
Was this a
voice?
voice?
He's enjoying some falafel with that falafel thing.
Was this put in? Like, did he call and this was or was it texting, sexting?
No. I think she recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah, the call.
Wow.
That's even worse to me then, because it's one thing maybe if you're texting and like. I don't know, you don't autocorrect and you're got a hard on and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But if he's voicing it.
So anyways, he's rubbing her big boobs. The nips are getting really hard.
He's got a falafel.
He's kissing the neck. He's taking the other hand with the falafel thing. And Jay, I think you nailed this earlier. The falafel is rough.
Yeah.
So what does he do? He's got his hand with the falafel thing.
He goes straight to
down to
bean.
Vagine.
He goes to bean with falafel.
I'd put it on your pussy. He's putting a falafel on her pussy, but you'd
Did
have
he
to
use
do
the
it.
word pussy?
He said pussy.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, he might have said P *** Y.
Could be anything.
Which would be
Patty.
weird, but yeah, I'm assuming he said put it on your pussy because he does acknowledge that the falafel is typically rough.
Maybe that's why he changed out the loofah for a falafel, though. Doesn't want to hurt her.
He says that you'd have to do it really light, just kind of tease business, and that's where my call cuts off. But
God, glimpse into the mind of Bill O'Reilly.
If anyone had audio of me, that's straight to suicide for me.
Fucking thing sucks.
I'm out, dude. I'm out. If you catch me on audio talking about putting my hand in a loofah and doing your back and your tummy,
your boobs,
and your boobs,
and your pussy,
your spectacular boobs, because they're spectacular boobs, and I want to get your nipples really hard. And then I'm going to put my hand in that fucking thing sucks, that falafel thing, and rub your pussy. Gross.
Hey, DealsInTheD.com has several dealerships for listeners to choose from. One that doesn't get enough attention is Zott M59 Toyota in Waterford. Yes, they have the same ridiculous deals you've come to expect from our friends at Zott, as well as a fully certified state-of-the-art body shop. So go get a Zott M59 Dodge Ram in Highland, Zott M59 Chrysler Jeep in White Lake, Zott M59 Toyota in Waterford, or, of course, Zott Ford in Holly, and support our podcast while enjoying a world-class experience on your next new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, only from DealsInTheD.com.
Dude, honestly, it's for me personally. It's only done this a few times, but I have done some sexting, and I've had a few girls. I've had a few.
Can we get some?
No,
texts?
I don't have those.
Hold on, we presented him with Sydney Leathers, one of the most famous sexters
Preeminent.
of all time.
Yep.
And he clammed up.
I know. Well, here's the thing.
Beyond clammed up.
Here's the thing. I have actually had one or two girls that wanted to do it voice-wise versus text-wise.
Am I supposed to believe that when we saw what he did to Miss Leathers?
No,
I
but
don't.
You don't. That's the point. I won't do it. It's too weird to me to over the phone the idea of saying those things that he's saying. I can like text it and it seems still like way more anonymous and way more like okay, I can say whatever I want in this
Dude,
texting
I think that's
phrase.
way weirder to text it. Honestly,
I know, but
number
that's how
one,
I
you're
feel
creating
about
a
it.
record. Number two, you're sitting there like, dude, are you texting with one thumb and yeah, you got
Yes.
your hand on your dick and you're like
Yes.
trying to thumb in.
Yeah, but keep in mind,
Put it
Jay,
in your pussy. And it ends
But
up,
I'm
you know,
so
put it in-
awkward, and I
butt it into your
Yeah,
patty.
Right. I've had a few times where someone's wanted me to do it verbally, and I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I have
Here's
no
the
interest
problem,
in-
Jay, because I'm
His
with
voice.
you. The record, well, first off, the voice, yeah. The difference between, fuck it, we'll do it live on phone sex versus text sex is there's a lot of room for error, a lot of room for backing up and back up and fix it, reword it. How does that work? You show your mom. Does that work? Mrs. Fady, does this sound okay? Is this something a guy would say to a girl?
It just seemed to me that
Before you send it.
it's way less fluid, man. Right?
I understand because a lot of times.
It seems like herky jerky.
Well, no, you're right because
Oh, I gotta wait for her response. Oh, I see she's replying.
I know, and that is
Can't
what
wait to
happens.
see what she says.
That is what happens, and then sometimes eventually it becomes this. Well, I gotta just next thing she says, I gotta
gotta
just
go.
finally jerk off or something because now I'm just sitting here, like
Well,
like saying a little bit, then sitting there waiting, like oh yeah,
You're just
this is
watching
hot.
those little
This
dots.
is hot.
You're watching those little dots.
The three
in
dots.
the thought bubble.
Well, then
Come
they'll-
on, finish your sex.
And then every once in a while, the three dots go away, and you're like, oh,
Oh
wait,
no, she closed out of my text.
What will happen is, what will happen is, so what I'll do is I'll just be staring at the last thing that was, and like, yeah, that was hot, and then I'm waiting for her to finish this saying, and you're right, it does get weird. But it's still
what kind
for
of
me-
things would you sex to a girl? Can you? I know
Well,
you
why
can
don't you
think of
just
some
pull 'em up?
examples.
I don't
yeah.
have. You think I save that shit? I don't save that shit.
You should for the show, but what? Like,
Well,
give me an
I haven't
example.
done
Like,
it in a
what would
while.
she say to you? What would an example of something she
I
would say
don't
to you
even
be like?
remember.
Oh yeah, your dick is so huge. I wish it was in my mouth right
yeah,
now.
shit like that. You
And
know, it's
go.
all
What do you say to that?
like. Well, you know,
we
yeah,
don't.
yeah, of course. Like we said that. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or it'd be awesome if I was in your mouth right now. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I can't think. I gotta. You know what? I gotta.
I mean, do you like go? Yeah, I can't wait to be in your mouth, and then I'm gonna go down on you, and you're gonna.
Yeah,
I never reference that.
Oh, you're a
Even-
selfish lover. And
Even
sucks.
in sexting, I won't say it. because it sounds. I don't
What about it?
So you don't think they pick up on that? I mean, they're looking to flick the bean, right? And they're watching
I
for
know.
your response.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, okay, he likes his dick in my mouth. Great.
Oh, he wants to fuck me.
Yeah,
I can see he wants to fuck me. Okay.
I think you know what's funny? I think I'm pretty vanilla even in my sexting because I don't even think I reference I don't think I've ever referenced like fucking a chick in the ass. I've definitely never referenced going down. I've never referenced like any.
How many episodes have you had of the sexting you refer to?
There was this when I lived in Holland, and it's gone away. She's
Everything
actually
happened in
since
Holland.
No,
Everything
she's
exciting in his life.
She raised her Facebook. I don't even know where she came from. There was this chick one time that friend requested me and said she'd either seen me do comedy or just saw that I did comedy, and we had like several periods, like I don't know how many times, but it was. And I kept trying to finally hook up with her. She like lived in Kalamazoo, and I kept trying to like, well, you know, I could go to Kalamazoo this weekend, and it would always just
catfish.
Be, yeah, it was
Total catfish.
I always just
Probably
don't.
a dude.
I thought several times. I wonder who this fucking is. I wonder who comedian this is that's making that's
some
like
fucking Hawaiian dude.
I
Playing
thought
for the
several.
Chargers,
I thought that
drafted by the
self
Chargers.
several times, but then still there was enough times where I'd be drunk at one night and I'd see, oh, so and so's online right now, and I'd just message her.
The trick to that game is, and I'm sure you've seen this play out in real life, Jay, where you see someone's texting string, and it's like maybe the girl is just like, wants to be nice, but isn't really going down that road. And then the guy finds every way to turn what she said. Oh yeah, you want me to drive? I'll drive down that road, and like trying to turn it into a sexting thing.
Wait a minute. I'll tell you right.
And they keep bowing out and pulling back. And
no, I've not done it that often. And you can just believe me or not believe me. But I have never done it with somebody. I've only done it with a few different people, but I've never done it with somebody who didn't insinuate they wanted it or it went that way. I have never just forced.
Yeah,
so I'm just having.
Well,
because I would never. I would feel so weird. The people I've done it with, it was very obvious that it was like wanting to be done at the time.
Hey, wrap it up, Bill O'Reilly. The people that did the New York Times story on him, the writers Michael Schmidt and Emily Steele, when they finished their interview with him about the $32 million thing, they'd gotten wind of that, and that's why they were talking to him. And he basically just wanted to see what this was all about. That's why he was talking to them. Well, they're breaking down all their equipment, recording stuff, but they're still recording on their iPhones when Bill lashed out at him. And so they released 33 seconds of him kind of going off on him, if you want to hear it.
Why don't you be human beings once? This is horrible. It's horrible what I went through. Horrible what my family went through. This is crap. And you know it. It's politically and financially motivated. And we can prove it with
I would recommend you do
shocking
so
information.
immediately.
With shocking
information. I'm not going to sit there in a courtroom for a year and a half and let my kids get beaten up every single day of their lives by a tabloid press who would sit there, and you know it.
Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah, why would his kids be beaten up every day if there was nothing there? I don't know. Anyway, let's take a quick break. We didn't talk about Playboy's upcoming issue. And, what they've decided to do.
This is no joke.
Yeah. I believe this is the one with Hugh on the cover, right?
Oh, no. I thought you were referring to the tranny.
Oh, I am. But I mean, I think that's the same issue that's got Hugh on the front cover. This one that I believe comes out on Halloween. But we'll get into that and more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hi, Michael Kowalski here, fourth generation of the Kowalski meat dynasty. But you can just call me the Sausage King of Detroit. And you know what, my friends? It's time. Time to roll out the grill, crack open the Jack's potato salad, sizzle up some sausages, pass out the pierogies, ice those beers, and unfold those chairs. Because grilling season is here, and it's time. Time to eat like a king. I'm Michael Kowalski, and I approve my message.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. And of course, Big E. And I had some other stories here, Jay, but I almost forgot. We've got to do E's history.
Professor Ezus would like to do a day in history.
Yeah, and he's got today. So maybe why don't we hop into extra content after the show and knock out a couple of these stories that we can do. So we have time to dedicate to E's History Month. I love learning new stuff from him. Are you ready, E?
Yeah. Shoot. Okay, I was just waiting for this. I was waiting to. Never mind. Yep, I'm ready whenever.
Well put, Professor.
Well, yeah, I want to know where you were going with that. You were waiting for what?
You know, the music right now just keeps re-looping if it doesn't stop. So I wait to pause it. Never mind. Doesn't matter. All right. So anyway, this is it's locally based today. On this day, October 24th, 1926, was Harry Houdini's last performance, and it was in Detroit, Michigan.
Wow.
What day was this?
Great Houdini.
October 24th.
Okay.
His last performance was on Detroit, Michigan.
Did it end in tragedy?
No.
Is that why?
No. What happened was
not get out of that box.
A day earlier, or 2 days earlier, actually, he was in Montreal, and he had this big saying, or this big thing out there that he could take any hit to the abdomen as long as he could prepare himself. So he was in Montreal, and a few college kids after
Did somebody bust his spleen or something?
Well, these college kids were like, is it true you can take any shot?
Man.
And he's like, yes, as long as I have time to prepare. And they didn't really give him time to prepare.
Just sucker punched
so
him?
they just started punching him.
Take that, Houdini.
Wait, what kind of time does he need to prepare? Does he need to put his jacket on with the steel plate in it or something? Or
He doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't specify.
Does he
Black jacket?
Does he need to just stand there and go flex? What does he need to do that they were able to jump?
It doesn't really
him?
say. It just says that he just says that he hit it was like a parlor trick. He could take he had said that he could take any punch or hit to the abdomen as long as he had time to prepare. And so these guys punched the shit out of him 4 times before he realizes he didn't realize they were ready, so he didn't prepare himself, and he starts to get hurt. And he does a show that night anyway, even though he's hurting. And then he's ill-advised. He was advised not to go to Detroit.
So disadvised?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Definitely disadvised.
I would say ill-advised. No, he didn't want to go to Detroit. He was going to have a 2-week run in Detroit, and they told him not to go, but he's like, I'm doing it anyway.
God, a 2-week run. What kind of venue was he playing at?
Well, he was playing at the Garrick Theater.
Oh, sure, the Garrick.
Sure, yeah.
Excellent.
God, I was just there a couple weeks ago.
Were you? Because it's weird, because it doesn't... it's not... Shit.
Caught Nickel back there at the Garrick.
Did you? It closed down 2 years after he was. It closed down in 1928. But.
Yeah, I just meant in the spot that the Garrick was.
Where was the Garrick?
It was on Gratiot. It's actually right by where the or Griswold. Sorry, right by where the American Coney Island. It's pretty close to American Coney Island.
All right.
So on the screen there it is. And actually, this is what it looks like now. It's just a nondescript building, but there is a building there.
I'd love to see
there.
it. Oh yeah, that's where I saw Nickelback, right in that alley. See that alley right there?
It's
playing in that alley.
So if you look around here,
sure,
there's,
absolutely.
Jay, do you know where we are?
Totally.
All right. Yep, I see it.
Pretty close to Campus Martius too.
Campus
actually.
Martius.
Anyway, but that's where the building was. So he. So these college kids punch him. Although some people are not sure if he died of his appendix burst, and then got an infection from because he refused to go to the doctor. He does the show in Detroit, ends it early. He doesn't do the full show, and he was missing marks apparently throughout the show.
Yeah.
And then throughout the night, he still hurts, and finally the next day he goes to the hospital. He dies October 31st in Detroit, by the way. He dies.
Oh, shit.
Houdini died
Halloween
in Detroit,
night.
Michigan.
It's fitting. Houdini dies on Halloween night in Detroit.
On Halloween, you're right. And actually, if you
What year was this, E?
1926.
Yeah, you really don't want
24, but
no, he said the
26.
24th.
On the 24th of
Yeah.
the 26th.
You really don't want to have medical issues, internal bleeding
in the 20s.
In the 20s, it's really if you can avoid that.
If you're looking on the screen, this is the hotel he stayed in. And then here's actually this is the hospital that he died in.
Which hospital is that?
This image right here, I forget what it was called.
Come on, Professor.
Grace something. Grace Hospital. Died in room 104 at age 52.
Ooh.
That's no longer here either, but it's in Midtown. Actually, the funny thing is apparently, by the way,
Harper Grace?
Yeah.
It just says Grace
Yeah.
Hospital, but
Okay.
my thing. But whatever. I did not know this. I know this has nothing to do with the death, but Houdini had another really famous. One of his most famous tricks he ever did was actually in Detroit, jumping off the Belle Isle Bridge and surviving. Like he jumped off,
all tied up and shit.
Or whatever.
No kidding.
Looks like a post, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think that is a postcard. But that was ended up being one of his most famous tricks he'd ever did. And then
What, jumping off a bridge wearing a straitjacket?
Well, he had escaped from the straitjacket.
Right.
Time
No, but
to
I feel
emerge.
I feel like Chris Angel's done that.
Well, yeah, this is 80 plus years earlier.
Just saying.
But the thing is, of course, like with lore, this one off the bridge at Belle Isle, there was rumor that it was even ice, and he jumped through the ice even. So he died here in Detroit. It was his last show. This is
you said that.
I know.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is kind of funny too. These people that killed him, or not killed him.
They killed him.
These college
Yeah,
kids that
they killed
punched.
him. Yeah,
well,
I'd say
there
that's
was
safe to
rumors
say.
believe. A lot of people now think later that he probably
Certainly
had
manslaughter.
problems already, because the reality is
He had a weak
going around,
appendix.
well, he's been going around having people punch
Sure.
him, so that this just happened to be the
He'd
one
been
that,
loosened up.
Yeah, and so this
It's
dude,
the straw that broke the dromedary's back, so to speak.
right? So the name that punched the guy that named punch him was J. Gordon Whitehead, and he eventually
I'd expect nothing more
Dude,
from a Whitehead.
Everybody back then had names like that, you know?
Yeah.
J. Gordon Whitehead.
Yeah.
Fuck.
he eventually dropped out of college, became a recluse, dying of malnutrition in 1954.
Yeah, that's
His ba-
big, dude. When dying of malnutrition was a common thing, you know,
So
the
this-
flu, malnutrition, burst appendix.
And is this said to have put him over the edge?
It doesn't say that. It just says that's what happened after this. So I don't know. This, by the way, if you're looking at the thing, this was an actual poster from.
Yeah, look at that, man. October 24th, 1926 at the Garrick Theater in Detroit.
Now, the funny thing is around his death, though, is like this is pretty much what people assume happened. But there is this myth also that he was murdered or committed suicide or murdered because he had gone around a lot of his life trying to debunk like the idea of psychics and talking to the dead. To the fact that to the point where even at one time had a $10,000 grand prize out there to anyone that could prove their display of supernatural powers were real. So he was really against that, and apparently the people that were into like the people that were into psychics and the supernatural shit, there's a lot of rumors of them taking people out that tried to say they were wrongdoing. So there is like this thing floating over that he was kind of actually like someone poisoned him or something.
Murder. That's an awesome poster. How cool would it be to have that poster? The one and only Houdini. Failure means death.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah. So what is that? That him hanging off? I don't know what.
He's got to come unchained somehow. Or he's gonna fall.
Can you guys tell what that is? I want to know what that.
I can't. There's a couple pictures inset on this thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is one of those like, I don't know, 2.5 by 1.5 foot, like you'd see concert posters. But yeah, you can tell it's old as shit. Someone owns that.
He died with $500,000, which is about $7 million today. But
Not
his
bad.
wife,
Not
but his
bad at all.
wife spent every year after he died trying to like have seances to bring him back to life,
how
which
ironic.
they point out is ironic because he spent much time and effort proving that shit
Harold.
wasn't real.
She learned nothing from Harold.
That theater opened on the actual theater opened October 31st, 1887. It had held 1,409 people, but then the motion pictures started to drive away a lot of this shit. The Detroit Free Press editor publisher E.D. Stair purchased it and called it the Garrick Theater, September 6, 1609.
Very interesting.
1609?
1909, and it closes 2 years after his death in 1928.
Good job, Professor Fady.
Not bad. He didn't answer a lot of our questions.
What was your
but
questions?
I don't know. They were littered throughout. You didn't know any
Name
of them.
one of them, and I'll try to answer it.
I don't remember. There were so many.
Really? Mm-hmm. I think that was maybe one of my most informed ones yet, personally.
Do you? Break your arm patting yourself on the back there, Professor.
Hey, the Hamlin Pub supports the Detroit Cast, so let's make it a point to support them with locations in Rochester Hills, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and 2 in Shelby Township. You know there's one near you. Hamlin Pubs have great food, ice-cold drinks, tons of craft beers, TVs, games, and great entertainment. Come on by or book your reservation today at hamlinpubs.com.
Should we get some email, Jay? Do we have anything at all?
Before we get to that, check out the spectacular savings at Zott Ford and Holly for the month of October. You can lease a new 17 Ford Escape or Fusion for just $118 a month. These haunting deals will be gone before you know it, so hurry down to Zott Ford to see our zombie-rific friends and get your ghoulish new Escape or Fusion at just $118 a month. Check out their bone-chilling deals and frightful inventory at dealsinthed.com.
Did you see someone was accusing you on Twitter of sounding not like vampiric when you do that read, but Gru-like?
Yeah. Who's Gru again?
I think Gru is the little guy in the what are those really popular movies right now?
Despicable Me.
No. Yes,
No,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure
That's what it is. Despicable Me, Steve Carell. As
Is it?
Gru.
Oh, okay.
G-R-U.
Oh, okay. I want to hear what he sounds like now. Do you have any audio of Gru? There he is.
I don't have audio of
Not
Gru.
you. I was hoping E could bing it for us.
Hey, speaking of Twitter, Ant-Man tweets in asking, are you guys sponsored by Microsoft now? I think he's referring to our references to Bing.
Oh, is Bing owned by
the Bing machine?
the Soft?
I believe they're owned by the Soft. We are not sponsored by the Soft. We're simply looking for an alternative to the Alphabet Incorporated Google product of the Google machine.
Yeah, dude. We're tired of Google and how much power they have and kind of flexing their political muscle.
Well, this is where it came from. It came from the Google employee memo. Remember the guy that blasted the diversity policies?
Engineer.
Dude who looks just like Richard Hendricks from Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, honestly, he looks just like him. He wears the hoodie and everything. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But yeah, after that story, we're talking about it. And it's like, yeah, normally if people are pissed off by a company, the market speaks, you know? McDonald's puts shit in their Filet-O-Fish. I go to BK and get a whaler.
Of course.
Well, in this instance, it's like, what are we going to do with Google? And that's when I proposed that we use Bing or Yahoo.
Yahoo! We didn't have many choices. What else was there? I mean,
Is Ask Jeeves still around?
Ask Jeeves would not be bad.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
The search engine world has narrowed, hasn't it?
Yeah, it sure has. But Bing is still hanging on, and so we've just decided that we are no longer Googling things. And we rely heavily on Bing, and that's why Ant-Man, if you've listened to the show, you will hear us, just do a quick Bing search, E, and figure that out for us.
Before we get to email proper, I do have a post. You'll recognize this picture, no doubt. Right down the street.
I took E there the other day.
The great Franklin Cider Mill.
Sure.
Dude, I've been, speaking of black people, I mentioned Ant-Man a second ago. Dude, I've been noticing more and more black people going to cider mills.
Really?
I thought they were too smart for that, Mike.
Black people in general were too smart for the cider mill
I was
trap?
at Goodison the other day and also rolled by Franklin Cider Mill, and I noticed quite a few African-American families. I don't know if I've noticed that in past years. It's a new thing for black people.
I don't know. I've never been in a black family, so I can't say for certain. E and I did notice quite a few African Americans at the Franklin Cider Mill as well. When we were there the other day picking up some donuts, E was trying to pick up some high school girls.
Yeah.
Very loudly, like, yeah, look at that one, as she's wearing her little volleyball shorts and stuff. He was doing. There was like a table of
like 14,
just a gaggle of 15 to 16-year-olds, and he was
very
loudly, like, look, whole table of them, look.
I know. I was pissed when he bought our donuts and we got out. They weren't there anymore. They left.
I implore you, African American families, do not fall for this.
Why
this is a
do
farce.
you?
It's a farce.
What is the farce?
It's overpriced. It's ridiculous. You all convene at this place and you buy overpriced cider and donuts, and then you sit there, and then what? What? You
wave off bees.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you occasionally
get your exercise waving off bees.
Yeah, and then you go down to little steps and you start throwing your cinnamon donuts to the ducks. Because that's what they love.
Yeah, it's the most pretentious ducks on the planet at the Franklin Cider Mill.
They were coming around, and I kept feeding them little donut pieces, and these little sons of bitches, they're so
I
quick.
love ducks, though. I mean,
want a duck.
The shape of the duck is so genius. You know,
Yeah.
that thing shouldn't be able to waddle upright, but you look at the shape, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, God, that thing's perfectly balanced.
And his little hands.
Sure.
Why are they orange?
And then
They're
when they
orange
swim and you
webbed.
see his little hands behind him just pushing, love it, man.
Yeah, they're badass.
I mean, I'll shoot them in a second, but
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to watch them.
Are you a shooting stuff guy or?
I've never stuffed one.
No. But there was a lot of them, and the you know the little creek that runs there,
Familiar,
got the little bridge. I mean, it's a beautiful setting there in Franklin.
Is it though? Is it really? I
Well-
was about to say it's really like shoehorned into this tiny
Well,
area.
sort
Would you
of.
agree on the shoehorn aspect?
Fine,
Yes,
I'll give
it
you
totally
that.
is.
You know what I love about
It's
cider
a
mills,
concrete
though?
metropolis. Really, they've
It's the
paved too much.
It's honestly
of it.
one of the worst I've ever been to.
See, I was
Good
just
point,
going to
E.
say, shame on you.
It
It's
is.
historic. It's historic.
Well, I'll get to that. But dude, it's too much concrete. It's too small, and it's overpriced.
There's nothing to do there. There's nothing cool.
Aha!
There's no pony rides. There's no
There's
hay
the water
bales.
wheel, E.
You can't even climb on hay bales.
Who wants to do it? It's we are what we are.
want an
We're a
apple.
cider mill. You want a candy fucking apple, a caramel fucking apple, or some damn $20 jug
Dude,
of cider?
stupid.
It's getting ridiculous. I was honestly stuck in cider mill traffic the other day.
Oh yeah.
For 10 minutes, I sat there at that four-way stop trying
Yeah.
to move through because people are trying to park every which way. And
Yeah.
it's just a mess, man.
But I was going to disagree with you that there's too much pavement. It's too cemented.
Oh,
which
it's
makes
far
it
too cemented.
I don't think it's too cemented because that big parking lot isn't that mostly gravel, and I like that about cider mills that there tends to be a lot of gravel when you park.
But the main structural area is just like they're packing in cars there. You're parking right
Yeah.
next to
There
the
is
tent where
nothing.
people are buying
There's
shit.
nothing remarkable about the Franklin.
There's nothing
Center.
redeeming about
He's
it.
you're full of shit, E. Because all you did was go in that one door. I love those rickety wooden doors. They're like,
But you
and
walk
then
in
they
there, there was
slam.
nothing.
And you walk in there, and they're making the donuts,
It's a
and they're
whole lot of
jugging
nothing.
the cider.
It's a nothing burger.
And he's oogling at the apple pies and the candy corn.
Ant-Man, don't fall for this.
But he just went through there. He didn't even go into the little market where they have in the outdoor tented place where they have all the apples in bags. Shut up, E. And they have the cheeses and the salamis and the caramels, corn.
Yeah, they've got a
Jerk
whole
off.
they've got a
That's
whole
nothing.
refrigeration area with like cheeses
what?
now that they bus in.
Well,
you
you're
know?
acting like there's nothing there. You guys are acting like I'm telling you,
wanna
there's
give
the
a-
water wheel.
I liked it better when Mitch Albom had his ices over there.
Shame. Shame on you.
Wait, dude, that was way overrated from other ones, dude.
You seem to be having fun when you were oogling 14 and 15-year-old girls in short shorts. And you enjoyed your donuts.
I could do that and walk around the mall and do that. I don't need to go to that wasn't part of the cider mill.
And
You
by
could go
the
to
way,
Hot Topic.
when you're walking through there, E, you do not need to loudly declare, I hate cider. Like, dude, great. You don't like cider? Don't fucking buy it. But all these people in line to buy cider, you don't need to shame them all. Like, fucking cider's gross. I just want a donut. I think cider's gross.
Okay, well, that cider mill, I'm not trying to be
Overrated.
It's overrated.
No, I'm not clapping along.
Overrated.
I'm not clapping along for that. That's bullshit.
Overrated.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys need horseback rides and haunted hay rides and
I
haystacks.
don't need any of it, dude.
And
I don't need any of
Let
it.
me guess. You need a corn maze.
I do. I'm
Oh,
telling
we
you
need a
this.
full orchard
I
here.
want-
Blah blah blah.
Easus, did you get to enjoy the scarecrows on the way through town?
Of course we did.
These sons
I
of
didn't think any of
bitches.
them were about to jump out at me either.
You haven't driven down there in the dark, man. You don't think they're coming alive and about to run out into the road.
I'll do it next Sunday. When we leave, I'll drive. I don't know
Tomorrow,
why.
should we take Jerry by there as maybe a final decision
that's-
maker?
yeah.
Take him to the Franklin
Oh,
Cider Mill. and
dude,
see
he'll
what he
find
thinks.
it delightful.
Well, we'll just
You guys-
ask him. We
Okay,
don't
well, let
know.
me take him
Maybe
to a
he
real
hates
one
caramel.
then, too. Let me drive him out to...
Yeah, we'll put him on a pony at a real
I'm
one.
not putting him on a pony at a real one. No.
Picture a grown man Jerry riding around in a circle
Little
on a
pony.
little pony. Bunch of kids. Well, let me read my Franklin Cider Mill factoid. Chris has taken the time to write in about this. Hello, Jay. A recent venture had me in the rarefied air of Franklin, Michigan. No trip to Franklin is complete without a visit to the Franklin Cider Mill. While there, one can take in smuggery of the patrons while enjoying an overpriced donut and some pretentious cider. Franklin Cider Mill, recognized as an historical building by the Department of Interior. In 1837, wow, the year Michigan became a state, construction of the mill was completed by Colonel Peter Van Every.
Hell yeah.
An interesting feature about the mill is that the original lumber was white oak, white pine, and black walnut, all hewed and finished by hand.
Really?
The press was shipped from Europe in the early part of the 19th century and is rated at nearly 90 tons of pressure. Isn't that a bit overkill? Pressing a bunch of apples? I could do that with my hand.
No, you couldn't.
90 tons of pressure?
90 tons of pressure.
90
That's
tons.
how special that place is.
Today, the mill is open Labor Day weekend and remains open until the Sunday following Thanksgiving. During this time, pure apple cider and spiced donuts are made and sold here, in addition to Hickory Farms of Ohio products. Whoa, they're shipping in Ohio products.
Well.
Another reason not to go.
And Orchard Fresh apples. It's a fine post.
It's a great post, and I appreciate it if you guys would stop disparaging with the disparaging remarks about my fine Franklin cider mill. I had a blast over there and eated too, regardless of what he says right now.
Mike, we'll save the rest for tomorrow.
All right. Well,
let's head into members' content.
Let's head into members' content. I wanted to talk about Playboy doing their thing, and then we've got a woman who sanctioned her own painting, kind of a portrait of herself, and she's
Dude,
not happy with
we
the
need
results.
a painting of ourselves.
Wouldn't that
Don't
be
you think we need a
sweet?
TDC painting?
Dude, yeah, except everyone's going to make me fat with a red fanny pack. But other than that, it'd be dope.
Like we could be in General Washington style,
yes.
you know.
Dude, do we have anyone out there that's talented enough to paint us?
We had a woman paint Monster that one time.
Yeah,
remember?
she was good, too.
Monster painting is on the because of Monster's death.
But would we end up like looking like the Tom Brady jury sketch? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be opposed to that. It'd be kind of cool to have an ET-looking painting that's
yeah,
supposed to be us. You know,
I'd take it.
Wouldn't be the end of the world.
I mean, I'm not begging anybody out there who knows how to paint, but it'd be nice.
Painting people is not easy.
No.
Drawing them is not easy either. You saw how quickly I went from drawing a dying baby to President Reagan.
Here's Monster.
Look at that.
Monster by the board.
Is that Lydia that did that?
I don't recall. I mean, we have that. I can look at it and figure it out.
I mean, that's a beautiful painting of the Monsty Monst. Oh, I miss you, you Monsty Monst. Thanks for bringing that up.
I don't miss her peeing everywhere.
Yeah, I don't miss that either. Well, maybe we could tap her for that because, dude, I think you're right. It's time we had a nice, big... I mean, I was jealous. I'll be honest. I was jealous when we went to the Kowalski, you know, to
the Wall of Death.
Tour. Yeah, the Wall of Death they had there.
Great-grandfather, grandfather, father, all portraits, beautifully done.
And as Michael told us, the painters at least had respect for them because I believe they maybe slimmed down one of the guys.
Said his dad. He's like, my dad never looked like that. They were very kind to him.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Oprah painting. Remember that? What's his name? Who's the actor? Black guy won an Oscar or
gave her a painting.
Jamie Foxx. Remember he presented Oprah with a painting, like a portrait of her, and it was like, oh wow, you put Oprah's head on some tiny skinny lady. That's crazy.
That's nice of you, Jamie.
Maybe we can bing that if you remind me. Pull it up tomorrow, E. But anyway, we'll get out of here. Exciting day ahead as Jerry lands today, so we've got a lot to do. But we'll pop over into extra content for a little bit first. So hopefully we'll join. Some of you will join us over there. For the others, we'll do it again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.